Okay, when you're ready.
Right, welcome to the Planning Committee. Tuesday the 13th of January, and we'll start with apologies, please, Heather.
Okay, we have 3 apologies for absence. We have Councillor Kirsty Wen, who is unfortunately able to attend because she is due. She's off studying on a day away study, and we have Councillor Pip Liver, who is taking her substitute, also stepping into chair. We have Councillor John Drake, who unfortunately is unable to attend due to family reasons, and Councillor Nick Chichester Miles, who is away on business.
Okay, thank you. Everybody happy with those apologies?
And I must, sorry, just add for Councillor John Drake, we have Councillor Milan Sutovich, who is stepping in.
Is everybody happy with the minutes of the meeting of the Planning Committee held on the 16th of December? So
And again.
What's the date today?
The 13th. Thank you.
Yeah, hold on to that.
Case.
Right, any item 4, chairman's report and urgent items?
No, we have neither of those, Chair.
Any public questions in accordance with standing orders 22 and 23?
No, none to be received, Chair.
Any letters of objection?
No, we've any since the agenda was issued.
Okay, so we're dealing with applications registered week ending the 12th of the 12th 25, 19th of the 12th 25, 24th of the 12th 25, and the 2nd of the 1st 26. I will start on page 11. Is 2025 2166 21 Glasgow Avenue, please.
Okay, I'll just get the mutation up. There we go. Okay, the property is detached but fills the plot with the left-hand elevation up to the boundary of number 19 Grasmere Avenue at ground floor and a 1 metre gap down the boundary of number 21A, which is an infill property constructed in 2020. The application is looking to add at first floor a rear extension partially over the existing ground floor flat roof element. This extension will extend an existing bedroom and create additional storage space. The first floor rear projection of number 21A extends to be in line with the existing ground floor element of the application property. Therefore, the proposal will not cause any impact on them. The 45-degree visibility zone for number 19 has been shown as not impacted from the extension, as it only covers part of the rear projection and is focused to the side of number 21A. Not conservation area and no tree works. And I've said consider no objections subject to no loss of amenity to number 19 Grasmere Avenue, policy ESD2 of the neighbourhood plan and policy 72 of the district plan refers.
Any comments?
Well, I think this sounds fine. I think if there's some suggestion. No objection.
No, there's no objections online either.
No. Okay. Everybody happy with it?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So far, 2025 and 2122, 2170 and 2188 don't meet the criteria. So we'll go to 5, 2025, 2210, 24 Randall Park, please.
Okay, the property sits on a large plot with sizable properties either side, also sitting on ample plots with good gaps from the properties themselves to the boundaries. Proposal at the front is looking to add an infill 2-storey extension with large windows next to the living room to create a larger entrance hall with spacious void above to create the feeling of space. To the rear and side of number 22 Roundwood Park, a 2-storey wraparound extension is proposed partially across the width and over an existing ground floor element. taking an existing bedroom one to create further open plan living accommodation at ground floor and the creation stroke enlargement of 2 bedrooms with bathrooms at first floor. Side number 26, a first floor extension is proposed over existing ground floor element to create a dressing room and ensuite. The largest change is the addition of 2 bedrooms in the roof space, which will total 6 across the property, by the increasing of the ridge height from 8.8 metres to 9 metres and an increase in width with the addition of dormer windows to the front and rear. This change makes the property more dominant and bulkier in the street scene, but due to the setback nature of the host property, the changes should not unduly affect the street scene, and the positioning being away from the neighbouring properties, there'll be no effect on them. Other sizable properties are in the street, although not directly in this vicinity. The materials are to match the existing. There's ample parking provision on the frontage, no tree or hedge works are taking place, and it's not conservation area. I've said consider no objection, subject to the proposal deemed to be in keeping with the street scene, policy ESD2 of the neighbouring plan, and policy 72 of the district plan affairs.
Any comments? Looks like an office block from the back. This one, sorry? It looks like an office block from the
Yeah,
back.
a lot of windows, aren't there?
Yeah. That looks huge. Quite immense, doesn't it?
And yes.
It does, but it's quite a large house already.
Yeah.
So when you see sort of with the comparison, although
I mean, the one
There's-
next to it is huge as well, isn't it? So,
sort of when you see there, when you make the comparison, there actually isn't a huge amount extra happening on the footprint. It's just the added bulk with the height, really, with the increase in ridge height.
has it got bigger? On the ridge height.
So it has just by 200 mil,
It's slightly higher.
not a lot, but obviously enough to,
Yeah, not much.
Yeah, not
But
a
it just looks massive. It looks really nice. I think it's just because the
The infill of the windows.
I mean, houses
Yeah.
are quite large though, aren't they? So
I think it makes it much more dominant because the roof form is a lot fuller. Sort of when
Yeah.
you see here, it's stretching much further across, and we've got that addition of the extra height, not a huge amount, plus the addition of dormer windows.
there's no complaints online,
There is actually, no, there isn't. No, not for that one.
then
Yeah, no, not for that one.
I'm happy with those comments.
Yeah.
So in terms of, I mean, obviously there's going to be a lot of windows at the back. There. So what impact does it have on?
So I don't think, so the windows, we're not adding extra windows in terms of, we're adding extra windows in the roof, but we're not adding extra windows anywhere else and any closer to them.
Then it's over the hedge height now, isn't it? Where? Is that a privacy issue?
The distance between there and the houses behind.
So,
But it's in their own garden though, isn't it?
so yeah, so the houses directly behind are actually that there isn't, I think
Yeah.
it's, they're such a long way away, and I don't believe there is a house directly behind.
No,
You
it's
can
more
sort of
garden.
see slightly to the left. I think it's the garden and the frontage of the house in the street behind. There is that sort of kind of little dormer bungalow situation, but you don't generally do window to window on an angle. It's deemed window directly into window, so you can see go straight in.
How did you get that picture?
On Google.
You haven't got a drone since I looked.
No, it was either that or it was in the design and access statement.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So they might have a drone. So actually, no, I think it was in the design and access statement, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
The design and access statement, which is like a document that describes
Yeah.
words and pictures and.
Okay.
It's,
Right. So we're happy with that. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, do you want me to add the addition here of subject to no loss submitted to the neighbouring or properties sort of in the direct vicinity? I've just focused on the impact.
I think with
In
the
the
trees and
streets,
everything
yeah.
in the garden and the fact it backs onto another garden, I think that's not necessary.
I agree with that. I don't think
Yeah.
necessary.
I know it's been the complaints.
Yeah,
They all-
and I think they would have
It's a
done.
big plot, it's set back, they're
Yeah.
all big houses.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, I thought I'd sort of float that idea just in case.
No. Okay, so we'll move on to 5/2025/221, which is Tag Balloon, please.
Okay, the property is the left-hand side of a pair of semi-detached dormer bungalows. Proposals are looking to replicate what has been constructed on the attached property at number 59 Cowper Road, therefore creating a balanced pair of properties. Proposals are to over the footprint of the rear conservatory and across the full width at a ground floor extension, which projects 4 metres rearwards, which will expand the ground floor accommodation and relocate an existing ground floor bedroom to be a study. At first floor, the forward projecting extension over the existing ground floor element and side extension to reconfigure the roof form is proposed, which will accommodate the relocated existing ground floor bedroom and add a third. Single garage and ample parking provision on the frontage, bay tree works and sits on the edge of the conservation area, but not in it. At the point in time I said consider no objection, there is an objection online for number 63 Cowper Road, which is obviously put to the left. It says 61 is in a row of 6 semi-detached chalet straight dormer bungalows with very similar one-storey frontages in Cowper Road. While several of these properties have had permission to rear dormer extensions into the loft spaces over the years, single-storey extensions into the gardens, none of the row of houses have a 2-storey extension to the front. I'm surprised by that. Okay. In fact, this element was previously declined in 2021 for an application by the owners of 59. No, I think it's been built. Or they've got permission for it. We'd like to express our concern with regards to the 2-storey front extension part of the proposal, which would unbalance the design and appearance of the row of properties and cause a detrimental impact on the amenity of the neighbouring properties and the street scene.
Isn't the house to the right there, 2-story?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
exactly almost the same on the next page as the.
Yeah.
other application.
So they've got permission to do it. So whether or not it's been constructed. Yeah, hence why I kind of said no objection, because it was going to create a balance.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Yes.
I mean, they're wanting to replicate something
Exactly.
that's already
Yeah.
there,
Been
so
done.
what's the
Yeah.
issue?
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Kristen's told you that.
Okay, are we happy with that?
Mm.
So, 5/25/206, 2352, 2150, don't meet the criteria for consideration, so we'll move to 5/2025/2266, 52 Roundwood Lane, please, Heather.
Okay, this proposal is looking to add 2-storey extensions to the front and rear. Property is detached and like others in the vicinity takes the style of sitting directly on the right-hand boundary with a gap along the left-hand side to the neighbouring properties. At the front, it is proposed to extend to 2-storey to align with the existing gable, with a single-storey entrance porch extending 1.2 metres beyond this. Number 50 Roundwood Lane is set further back from the proposal property, partly due to the road curve, with consequent shadowing to the south facade during the mid to late afternoon already experienced. The vertical 45-degree angle test shows acceptable shading, but on the 45-degree horizontal test, there is an impact. This is further affected by the addition of the 2-storey extension. A centrally located balcony is also included in the front proposals, but due to the forward footprint of the property, this will not cause any overlooking or impact on the neighbouring properties. And the property overlooks open fields, therefore no properties directly opposite. To the rear, a 2-storey extension will extend 1 metre to the south side, with a 2-storey wing on the north side, which will align with the footprint of the existing conservatory, but does not extend as far as the rear building line for number 50. The bedrooms have not increased in number, just size, and there is parking for 3 cars on the frontage. And I've said, consider. The committee expressed concern the proposed 2-storey front extension will create an unacceptable impact on the amenity number 50 Roundwood Lane. Policy E32 of the neighbourhood plan and policy 72 of the district plan affairs.
Anybody have any comments?
Has there been an objection from the?
There hasn't, no. So interestingly, I actually met with the neighbours of the opposite side today in relation to something completely separate. this, they weren't objecting per se to the proposals. They were concerned about the fact of the brick wall that is going to the side of the property, which is basically replacing a wooden fence and gate to just be brick with a normal door. So they were just very concerned about that being attached to their property.
Mhm.
Number 50, that is.
Yeah, no, number 54, the other
Yeah.
side, yeah.
Yeah, you can see they've got it on the plans, haven't they?
Yeah.
And about the 45-degree horizontal test?
Yeah, so that interestingly was wording that I extracted from the application. So from the actual design and access statement, it was quoted in there, that wording was quoted in there, so they recognise that there is this impact. But yes, I mean, sort of when you look at the drawing that's on the screen there, there is quite a significant feeling of being very impressive, it feels, on number 50. It's quite a large. I mean, the property already extends out enough, but that the red adds further.
I mean, I suppose you don't want to object to something because you might want to do the same work yourself.
Yeah, I don't know.
But you don't know, do you?
I've not heard from number 50, but
No.
I think that's a good point though, because you would imagine this problem probably cascades down the road if any of these properties, which are all quite similar, try and do this kind of reno.
yeah, possibly. I think the thing with number 50 is it's very clear that they are set back slightly further than the other line of
Yeah,
properties.
yeah.
So the ones to the left clearly are in line, but then the road begins to curve round. So it's,
Is it number 50 that's worried about the one driving?
no, number 54.
Side.
Yeah, they weren't concerned about the proposals. They were concerned about the addition of this brick wall. It's just literally a brick wall, right? Golden gate really.
So are you allowed, you're not allowed to touch another property, are
You
you?
can if you have a party wall agreement.
Is it not?
Party will agreement.
So you just have to enter into that.
Yeah.
Which I did flag with them today, so they were an elderly couple. So I kind of guided them in.
Should we include number 54 within our concern?
Probably not, because it's not going to affect them in the same way. Because then, in theory, to them, there isn't anything extra being added to the side of them.
The construction of the wall doesn't give a terracing effect.
No, it's let me see if I can try and show you. It's on. It's just literally a very tiny.
It's just a wall
It's just
connecting.
literally a connect. Yeah, it's at the moment there's a closed board fence with a gate. So they're removing that and replacing it with a single brick. That's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
a single brick.
With a door in it.
Yes, with a door. And there's another one further in. And I asked the question of the couple on that side, do they have a dog? You know, this sounds a bit random. They said, yes, they do. And I was like, well, this explains to me what they're wanting to do is to have bins and all those sorts of things, but keep those separate from the dog. Or have it as an area possibly where the dog goes when they come back from a walk. It's yeah, it's not like a weight bearing wall or anything like that. It's just a single brick wall with a door.
And they've got two walls then.
Yeah, so there's one that's a sort of a few meters further back along the side.
Like a pen.
It creates a passageway.
Okay, so Heather's suggestion is to express concern. Are we happy with that?
Yes, I think so.
Yep, okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Heather. 5/2025 2217 and 2250, but in criteria. So we'll move to 5/2025, 2169, 34 the uplands.
The proposer is looking to demolish the existing property, which is of the original cat slide roof style, and replace with a larger and more modern dwelling over 2.5 floors. Properties either side and throughout the street are of differing scales and design, though some of which are similar to what is proposed with this replacement property. The front building line is similarly positioned to the existing, with the footprint width also similar to the existing, which retains good gaps down the boundaries. The current property has 4 bedrooms, with just 4 bedrooms proposed in the new dwelling at the first floor level. The accommodation in the roof space is a gym, games room, cinema room and an office. The existing footprint does not extend far rearwards, with it filling the width. Sorry, it does not extend far rearwards, with the filling the width of the plot instead. The current dwelling extends rearwards by 11 metres at the deepest part. The new dwelling is to extend approximately 6.7 metres. The positioning on the footprint of number 32 means that they will be unaffected by the additional rearward projection, but it's less clear if number 36 will be impacted, although the 45-degree visibility zone appears to not be impinged. The current ridge height is 8.5 metres and is to increase to 9.6. Other properties in the road have similar ridge heights through redevelopment. Number 40 is 9.6, number 33 is 9.7, and number 17 is 9.8. Explanation in the application as to how the proposal addresses policy H2, which is housing renewal in the neighbourhood plan, is that the existing dwelling was constructed in the 1960s at a time when no insulation was provided at any level to floor, walls and roof construction, and is considered to be well below current basic standards of performance required to meet the minimum level of statutory building regulations. And due to its age, layout and the appearance, the existing foundations would be inadequate for an innovative design and incorporates an additional level of accommodation. A preliminary ecological assessment and VAT survey has been conducted, which showed nothing notable to take into consideration, including no evidence of VATs. It's noted that the proposal is looking to add another dropped curb access point, which Hertfordshire highways do not support. Parking for 4 cars on the frontage plus a single integral garage. Flat roof garden room to the rear. A flat roof garden room to the end of the garden is also proposed, and existing trees and landscaping are to be retained, not conservation area. And I've also considered no objections, subject to no loss of immunity to number 36, the uplands. Policy E is to achieve the neighbourhood plan, and policy 69 and 70 of the district planning affairs. And as I guessed, Hertfordshire Highways have objected to the second dropped curb, which I think is their standard. Yeah.
I mean, there are lots of houses along the uplands that have carriage driveway, don't they?
They do. I think that this is a new policy that highways have introduced, that they don't support an extra dropped curb when there is already a dropped curb on site.
If I may, Chair, this is something that seems to be cropping up quite a lot in West Common, but it's completely in keeping with the character of the area and historically. So it's not something that when this committee's seen it recently have really looked at with much weight. And that's, I mean, obviously you're free to make your own decision, but that's certainly my continued view is that this is kind of something a little bit overzealous from highways. And so I don't really see it as planning basis, especially when so many of the houses in the area have 2 drop curbs.
That part of the uplands, I'm not actually sure that it does have carriageways on that cul-de-sac.
On
That's the top end.
Well, up past Pennygrove. I mean, I would have to go and check, but across the whole road there are dozens.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But that end there are, but this one, the cars are always like, I've seen cars.
What is their actual rationale for,
I don't know. I mean,
is there rationale?
so I think this is something which has only just recently cropped up. I mean, over the years through planning, we've had numerous applications for an additional drop curb and never had this. So I don't know, to be honest, the reason why. Just says the recommendation notice is given under Article 22 of the Town and Country Planning Development Management Procedure, blah, blah, blah. That Hertfordshire Highways as the Highway Authority recommends that permission be refused for the following reasons. Proposed additional vehicle crossover and dropped curb is not in accordance with Hertfordshire County Council's specifications and has the potential to negatively impact on the the free and safe flow of highway users on the adjacent local access road due to the provision of an unnecessary additional access point.
But what adjacent local access road it's.
Yeah.
Because the local access roads down here.
I mean, I suppose the point of that end of the uplands is you're on the quieter part of the uplands because it is, as you say, a cul-de-sac.
Is it their word like Preston's then?
But then if you go the other way, there's lots of carriage driveways and they are, it's a busier part of the road because it is a through road.
Pretty much every house the other side of that junction has
Yeah.
carriageway. But the thing is, we
I-
can't, well, the highways decision's got
Oh, yeah.
nothing to do with us, is it?
No.
So we have to take that on board when we're saying about planning.
It's entirely up to us whether or not we feel we want to. I must admit, I think it's a relatively new thing from highways that I'm not sure that I have actually got to a stage of seeing applications refused for that sole reason.
Do you know what happened to the one on, next to Horsley Road at the end of the?
Yeah, that hasn't been determined yet, but
we
that
can
will
update
be,
once it is.
absolutely, yeah. So we had one last meeting or the meeting before where they were wanting to apply for a second access because they were actually putting a new garage in, weren't they?
And it
So-
was at the end of a road, at the end of a cul-de-sac, so there was no like pedestrian.
Mm.
Well, this one's been. This one's been refused before,
Let me, I'll share with you the.
Similar shape.
Yeah. The Google Street View, so we can have a little look. So here is the application property. Just here. So if we sort of kind of go down the road and to see what sort of kind of precedent there is. So that's obviously, that's all single.
Very valid as well to knock the house down.
But well,
To make
that
it
is,
more energy efficient.
that is clearly a relatively modern addition of a carriage driveway. It's just there. I don't know what this new property here
That's-
has.
The other thing I'd say is like, I can understand across the
Carriage on it.
county, right? They might be concerned that it's taking up what would effectively otherwise be parking spaces because you can't park over the drop curve.
Oh, there we
But-
go.
It's not really relevant.
No, it's not relevant up there, is it?
So that's a street view or the aerial view. That's clearly the new property that's been constructed there has got a carriage driveway. As you can see it just there. So, yeah, it's up to the committee on how strong a stance they take. I think that looks as if there's another one there that is directly opposite Pennycroft, interestingly. Just go to it and have a little look.
So it's in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that is directly opposite Pennycroft. So if you were to use that wording in here, I understand in that location, because it is directly opposite a junction. But it,
that one on the corner as well, and you've got one on the left-hand side and one on the right.
Yeah, you're going in the open to come
Yeah.
up on Pennycroft.
I mean, those driveway entrances are on different roads, but I mean, they're all over the West Common. I don't understand why they're
Yeah.
picking on it.
Yeah.
And it does enable cars to be taken off the road onto the driveways.
Yeah.
More efficiently.
Yeah.
And there's not a problem with parking up there either.
No.
No, because everybody parks on the.
What have you recommended? No objections.
Yeah.
To last time meeting. Tell me, what do we want to say anything about the dropped curb?
No, I personally don't in principle, to be honest.
I think it's very early days for us to have a steer. I think once we
Yeah.
get the determination of the other application, which is on was it Collins Road? I think it is on Collins Road, isn't it? Something like that. Once we get that, then we'll probably get a bit more of a steer as to how much
What
district
the thinking is.
council are taking
No.
that on board,
Yeah.
slowly. It's
I mean,
entirely
you-
up to you.
Usually highways, it's just their word is law. And if highways object to something, then it doesn't go through.
We're gonna have a county-wide policy of not.
Well, there's a new NPPF, the
National Planning Policy
framework, exactly, which has got something like over 350 amendments. And I don't know if this is relevant, but I've just been wondering if that's something to do with it.
I don't know, or whether or not it's a feeling that they, by having operatives from county doing these dropped curbs, it's removing them away from carrying out other highway works. I don't know, it was a
Okay.
guess.
Because highways have to do the dropped curve.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, because if you're making a change to the
To
highway
highways.
network, it has to be carried out by highways.
Okay. So they in their builders wouldn't do the building work for this property?
No,
No.
so no,
It would be highways.
Highways.
That do.
they can't make any changes to the highway network.
What if the owners offered to pay for the drop, would they?
They,
drop it?
well, they do have to anyway.
Oh, they have to.
Yeah, they have to make an application, yeah.
Don't understand the problem.
Okay.
God almighty.
Can't have anything nice, can you?
No, heaven forfend.
Well, I mean, I think they're going to have a very nice house, and the fact that they haven't got 2 dropped curbs is very West Common, if you like.
First world problems, we feel.
Yes, I mean, as somebody who lived in West Common with a property which had 2 dropped curbs, but you know,
Yeah.
I survived. Okay. So are we going to go with Heather's recommendation?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. I think it will be interesting,
Yeah.
I think. Will be interesting.
This appeal.
Right, so we have an appeal decision to look at. Any comments on that?
We do, the town council didn't actually look at it. This was one that was it
okay.
didn't fulfil the criteria. Right, for us, so there isn't anything much to.
Actually raised a question from me, if I may.
Yeah.
So I noticed one of the applications in this pack, I think it was 2026, but I'll double check the number, was a loft conversion.
Right,
And I've noticed that some of the ones on which we're disagreeing with district, where they're often not even looking at them related to loft conversions. So I just wanted to understand from you, if I may, the decision-making process that goes into deciding which applications don't meet the criteria for
Yeah.
consideration and how loft conversions fits into that, because they seem to be some of the more contentious applications that we're receiving.
so, essentially, I review all of the applications, I kind of glance at them and see what sort of level of impact they appear to potentially have, and then I take a view on whether or not I do look at them. So I can have anything around sort of kind of 15 to 30 applications in a list, and we have 3 lists. So I can't physically look at
Okay.
every single planning application. So loft conversions, it just depends, or if they're dormer windows, then if it's just something very simple and like a flat roof and there is precedent already been set in the street, then generally that's one that I don't take the time and trouble to look at. If I have received any comment from a resident or from a councillor saying actually I'd like to look at it, then of course I will.
Right.
But yeah, there are an awful lot of them that come through, because it's a relatively simple way of gaining additional accommodation in your property for little cost. And generally little impact on people.
So dormer windows in particular, so the threshold for when you look at an application and you're thinking about dormer windows is whether or not that's in keeping with the general street scene.
Yeah, either that or whether or not there is going to be overlooking or impact on people in the direct vicinity. There are a number of roads that they're sort of quite prevalent in Cowper Road being one. I'm trying to think what the ones off of Station Road where they're sort of kind of the terraced properties and they extend a long way back. Tennyson is another one where there's quite a few of
Yeah.
them. Also depends on whether or not they're rear dormer windows or if they're front dormer windows. If they're rear, then generally you're not going to see it from the front, and they're not generally going to look into create an impact on the neighbouring properties. Yeah, they all get looked at and decided upon for their different merits.
Okay. All right, so
Okay, so that's the appeals, and then I just wanted to draw your attention to 1 or 2 of the applications that got the decisions. Just really a bit of a kind of touching base. So I don't know if we can all recall, number 1 Wheatfield Road is an application that kept on coming back, and they kept on refusing it because they weren't, they were going to demolish it and replace it with a new build, essentially.
Yeah.
And so the previously refused one, there was a rebuild. They kept on refusing it because they didn't put in a BNG vision, so biodiversity net gain provision. So what you have to do is, if you're creating additional sort of kind of footprint of a brand new property, you generally have to have some BNG contribution, shall we say. So the way they've got around it is that they have gained permission by doing extensions to the existing property and still achieving something relatively similar to what they were applying for before. So that's, yeah,
What moves we been into?
I don't know.
I
Probably
think
because they couldn't. It's a worse condition than the one on the uplands, that house.
So, yeah, I mean, if you look, it's
That was quite good, that picture.
it's
It's the one with the gold Capri.
it is the one with the gold Capri.
The Capri's worth more than that house.
It reminds, so it that tells you how long they've been trying to get planning permission for it. It's been a long time since you've been on planning. So
Yeah.
anyway, so that's that one. And then another one that is a regular
Oh, yeah.
kind of application is number 49 Top Street Way, where they were wanting to demolish and replace with a pair. That has been refused again, unfortunately, due to the feeling that House B is going to cause an impact on the rear boundary and number 6 Fairmead Avenue, which obviously is behind.
The parking.
There's no entrance to the
The allotments
allotments.
to the right, yeah.
Yeah.
So no, the sole reason on this occasion is that they feel that House B is going to cause this overlooking and potential loss of immunity to number 6 Fairmead Avenue. And I think that was it. I wanted to just flag with you in terms of updating on applications.
Thank you, Cookie. Everybody happy?
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Lovely. So meeting closed at 8:08. Bear me a second to stop recording. Bear me a second.